Happy Wednesday. You know, I was listening to the book of Mastery by Paul Selig. If you don't know who Paul Selig is, he is a channeler who connects to the Melchizedeks and channels incredible spiritual lessons. And I'm in his third book, and I've been on a retreat with him and a couple of workshops. It's incredible work. And what he says about judgment is really profound. What the guides say about judgment is really profound. And what they say is, when you're judging someone, what you're actually doing is calling in fear. Because what you judge, you fear. And when you call in fear, you're bringing in the exact experience you don't want to have. So what's the solution? The solution is to understand that everything that you see, every person that you meet, regardless of their behavior, is a creation of God's source universe. All that is a creation of God's source universe. And just because somebody is not behaving in a way that feels divine to you does not mean that they are not divine. It means that they also, in that moment, are caught up in fear, that they are acting out in their own fears and calling in more fear. And the more fear we call in, the more erratic our behavior becomes. So really, God's source universe exists in everything that you see. And so when you realize that and you embody that truth, you can look at another individual and you can separate the divinity in them from their behavior. And you could recognize that regardless of how they're behaving or what they're doing, that God's source universe is within them and they are within God's source universe. And by being willing, by knowing that, and being willing to acknowledge that God is working with that person, whether you see it or not, whether your judgment of that person, whether you're able to recognize that or not, God is working with them, God is in them, and as such they are divine, even if they're not behaving that way. You actually send an energy out that lifts them up, and that is the best way to help them. You can't change a person, but you can change a person by sending that knowing out. So releasing your judgment and recognizing them as the divine beings that they really are,